This is Vanuatu, one of the many small and peaceful nations of the world that may be a paradise on earth, but beneath the serenity of its shores faces an existential threat: climate change. Vanuatu, along with 56 other member nations, forms the small island developing states experiencing rising sea levels, intensified storms and shifting weather patterns. These nations have consistently called for global responsibility regarding carbon emissions. This global call reached a pivotal moment on July 23rd with the landmark ruling by the International Court of Justice in The Hague, Netherlands, on climate change.
They affect both natural ecosystems and human populations.
The ICJ hearing was initiated by a collective demand from Pacific youth and island nations, leading the UN Secretary General to formally request an advisory opinion on April 12, 2023. Public hearings took place from December 2nd to 13th, 2024, involving 96 states and 11 international organizations. The ICJ affirmed that climate action is not optional. It is a binding legal duty. This duty is grounded in existing treaty regimes and customary law, including human rights and environmental law. The ruling implies that major carbon-emitting nations could be held accountable for their role in the climate crisis, acknowledging a legal responsibility to protect future generations. It also reinforced the Paris Agreement's objective of limiting global temperature rise to within 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Ralph Regenvanu, Vanuatu's Minister for Climate Change, stated this initiative was part of efforts to accelerate action after 30 years within the UNFCCC process. Climate experts suggest this order will play a key role in the upcoming COP30 negotiations in Belém, Brazil, and will rejuvenate global climate talks. It provides significant negotiation ammunition for climate-vulnerable countries, including India, which has been severely impacted by climatic effects. However, as a major emerging economy and one of the top global emitters, ranking third in gross carbon emissions, India now faces greater international, legal and moral pressure to accelerate its fossil fuel phase down. Experts indicate that while the ruling pressures developed countries, a substantial portion of this pressure may bounce back on India during future climate negotiations, particularly at COP30. This means clearer accountability for India regarding its coal dependence, emissions targets, and fossil fuel subsidies, especially considering its stance at COP26 to phase down rather than phase out coal. Fossil fuel critics have welcomed the ICJ's statements, with Kumi Naidu, president of the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty Initiative, describing the opinion as a clarion call to governments and institutions stalling the fossil fuel phase-out. The court's decision has set a precedent, but the fight for justice is far from over. The question now is, will the world rise and come together to meet the challenge?